we have Professor Moodley. She's a distinguished professor in the Department of Medicine at Stellenbosch University. She's also the chair or director of the Center for Medical Ethics and Law at Stellenbosch University. She's a visiting professor at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and she's a member of the Academy of Science of South Africa. Welcome, Professor Moodley.
Good evening, Ezekiel. Thank you very much for the introduction and for the invitation to join this conversation from the Global South. Now, there is nothing new about inequity in health care across the globe. The COVID-19 pandemic has simply unmasked existing inequities and shown us the brutal reality of this inequity. Now, there is differential vaccine access in the global north and the global south, and this has simply taken inequity to a new and concerning level. The obvious solution would be to increase vaccine production in the global south. And I'm going to give you two examples of countries where this has been attempted. So I'll start with South Africa, which is where I live and work. And you may know that there are two vaccines that are licensed for production in South Africa, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, as well as the Pfizer vaccine. The Johnson & Johnson production has begun, but Pfizer is a short to medium term plan. Now, this is new for the region, but it's an important step. Although it's not a full manufacturing process that will occur, it's the final step in terms of fill and finish of vaccine vials that will occur, but is nevertheless a positive step in terms of increasing access to vaccines. The other example is India. And here we know that the Serum Institute of India was licensed to produce the AstraZeneca vaccine under the trade name Covishield. And despite the international reputation of the Serum Institute, the European Union does not accept Covishield. We've heard that in the earlier session as well. And this is alarming because the Serum Institute of India, we know, has been established since 1966. It is the largest vaccine manufacturer in the world and has been producing a wide range of vaccines, including the tetanus toxoid, DPT, MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella that some of you are familiar with, influenza vaccines, meningococcal vaccines, and the BCG vaccine for TB. Since 2014, these vaccines have been widely distributed around the world by the World Health Organization, by UNICEF and PAHO. And being such a well-known and well-established vaccine manufacturing plant has maintained high good manufacturing standards. Now, Europe sees fit not to recognize and take this important fact into account in terms of how they differentiate between vaccines that originate in different parts of the world. What is interesting is that when there have been contamination issues with respect to COVID vaccines in recent times, these have not occurred in India or South Africa, but indeed in the United States itself. And so this in itself reinforces the danger and the harm caused by prejudice to vaccine manufacturer in the global south, even in world-renowned institutions in these regions. You will also be aware that both India and South Africa have approached the World Trade Organization in terms of specific exclusions around patents and intellectual property with respect to COVID vaccine manufacture. The World Trade Organization has been deliberating for the past 9 months on this matter. We know that the United States and China support this endeavor, but Japan, Europe, and South Korea have not been supporting this move, neither has the pharmaceutical industry. And so to date, the matter of a waiver of limited intellectual property rights in respect of COVID vaccines remains unresolved. The question is, where to from here? Will the same rules apply to vaccines manufactured in South Africa? Will this apply to Pfizer, although it's the very same vaccine that is manufactured in Europe? Given that only parts of the vaccine components will be sent to South Africa for final processing, filling, and finishing. And if this continues, this will result in continued discrimination against travelers from the global south, be it for work, study, or leisure. This situation is untenable and requires urgent intervention by global health organizations like the World Health Organization in order to ensure that this incredible divide between the global north and the global south is resolved as rapidly as possible. Thank you, and I'm happy to take questions later.